were in space and they didn't have to fight against the Earth's gravity, and they were out in a vacuum, and they didn't have all the friction of the atmosphere. There ain't no room for error whatsoever in that type of scenario. And so they flew out into space. They separated the command module and the lunar lander, and then they reconnected them in space, and then they turned around and put 2 astronauts in, 1 astronaut stayed behind, and then they went and landed on the moon with a 10,000-pound thrust rocket that they were able to control perfectly down to the landing site, and certain things didn't add up in the process as what you know, my teachings of what people had taught me in science had said would happen if physics was to you know, be a reality and work as it was said. So you got a 10,000-pound rocket going down, landing down, I think it was like 7,000 pounds or something like that, lander that is landing with a couple guys on it, and it don't kick up as much dust as one would believe in a really low gravity, vacuumed atmosphere kind of situation. Should have been a big old hole there. That kind of thing.
Alrighty, so let me see here.
Anyway, it's not the point of
Yeehaw. So if you happen to be joining me, this is the second test of the live stream. Hopefully everything's coming through good on your side. I'm wanting to be taking the channel to a whole different level. I'm trying to get some things sorted out. This old computer that I'm on right here is kind of squirrely at times, and so what I'm hoping is that I got a new computer part on the way, that I'm actually building a better computer that will be specifically for live streaming. Let me know how the video quality is in the stream there, and that way I'll know what I need to do to resolve it. It is a really good camera that I've got. I keep getting an error from YouTube, says YouTube's not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth stream. And so yesterday when I tried it, seemed like everybody could see it okay in the chat room. And so I'm just going to go ahead and try this out, and then I'll watch the playback later to see how it is, and I'll just have to deal with the buffering and more likely the loss of viewers, because nobody wants to sit around and watch a squirrely version of mad science. But I promise you folks, I will get it sorted out. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but once I get it sorted out, I want to be able to share with you real-time experiments so that you'd be able to ask me questions while I'm doing things. And then if there's any bloopers like wire fires or explosion, you get to see that firsthand. Because a lot of times when you're doing science projects, it doesn't always go smoothly when you're trying to test things. Because I'm the kind of person that believes that until you actually test it for yourself, then you can't really deny it. So when it comes down to, you know, free energy, alternative energy research, clean, renewable, green energy, there's a lot of shenanigans that goes on out there that gives you know, people like me a bad name. Because what I'm doing is I'm doing real research, folks. I put together real prototypes, and I do real tests. And so, you know, when I find something that's worthy of sharing, I make a video, I throw it out there. Sometimes I make the video in a creative fashion, you know, to ask a question. One of the really important things to remember about my YouTube channel is always read the descriptions. Please read the descriptions, because the descriptions are really important. If you see a question mark there, I'm asking a question. Alright, I'm asking a question. What do you think is possible? See, what I think is possible and what I can prove may very well be two separate things. But I'm willing to test the limits to see what is indeed possible. And so I'm trying to bring some information to the people. But I'm trying to do it in a creative fashion that makes it fun to learn a few things and, you know, be able to test the boundaries of science, so to speak. You know, some folks, they believe the laws of physics are quite literally written in stone, but if that's the case, then sometime in the future, the things like you would see on Star Trek or Star Wars or stuff like that, you know, they might not be possible. I mean, like, for example, when they have the old communicators in Star Wars and they say, "Beam me up, Scotty." Do you realize how much computer processing power that would actually take to be able to, you know, transmit somebody's body from one place to another, you know, teleportation style kind of deal? Do I believe it's possible? Of course I believe it's possible. I believe that all things are possible if you actually put your mind to it and you test the laws of physics. But if you're a firm believer and there's no other options available, well, then you're never going to try anything. You know, there was a quote by Henry Ford. He said, "If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." And so with mad science, first of all, the reason why I call it mad science is because I'm really frustrated at the mainstream science community. I'm really frustrated at the educational system, whether it be from high school all the way up to college, because people come out of those institutions, or whatever you want to call them. I call them indoctrination centers. They come out of there thinking that they know everything. Sure, they can quote the laws of physics, but are they quoting them properly? And then the next question is that when they believe they know it all, is what they're quoting, is it theoretical according to science? Is it the theory of what they believe is possible? Or is it factual? Is it provable that it's not possible? And how would you ever know? But if you're just mockingbirding what you heard on, you know, read in a school books, if you're just memorizing what science says, then you're not thinking freely. You need to be able to be a free thinker in order to be a scientist, an inventor, you know. It's like this magnet accelerator that's sitting in front of you. Right now, when I come around to showing everybody what this thing is actually for, that's going to be really cool. But for the moment right now, this was an idea that was in my mind. And like I said before in previous videos, an idea is only an idea until you act upon it. I actually took this idea from my mind. I got a friend to help me out. My friend Justin, the cabinet maker, he made this base that, you know, hold the accelerator around. The tubing itself cost me about $170 some odd just for the tubing alone, the copper wire, you know. And so there were other people involved in this situation. Bell Plastics is the one that made that particular tubing. You know, they did the best job that they could for what I asked for, but, you know, it still has flaws, so that, such as when you hear this thing spinning around, if I can get her to go, then you'll hear some clacking when it hits the certain sections of it. And the motor controllers I bought off of eBay. They're really cheap motor controllers, but they have a lot of potential for flyback driver circuits. Alright, now you can hear it, every time it passes one of these sections right there, it will do a thump thump. That's because inside that tube it's not exactly smooth. It's actually jumping over a curb, so to speak. And so that's one of the things I got to resolve by getting a solid tube made all the way around so that it doesn't do that in the future. because I need a smooth path for what it is I'm doing, but this works good for a prototype. All right, and so basically what I'm trying to get at is that had I not believed that this is even remotely possible, I had theories about magnetism, and I had theories about how magnetic fields interact with each other and such. But had I not took the time, because maybe physics said something different than what I was actually contemplating in my mind as being a possibility, then I would have never took the time to go through this. And there was actually some funding that was involved that a friend of mine helped to actually fund this type of research. He has an identical prototype of this thing now. So there's 2 of these in existence. There's only one of these in existence. This is Neodymium Magnet Accelerator 2. The Neodymium Magnet Accelerator 1 was made out of this particular type of material that didn't work so well because it had a kink in the deal. I couldn't get it perfectly straight, and so the magnet would catch here and there, and you'd have to slap it to get it started again. But when it did do what I believed it would do, then I knew that at some time when I can afford to make a tube like this, that I would actually get this thing rebuilt. And so I made a promise to people. I said that I was going to study everything that there is to know about alternative energy, and when I got that accomplished, that I was going to share all this information with the people for free, and I fully intend on doing just that. And so with that said, they said that we needed a more efficient generating system. This is one factor in the deal. They said that we need a better storage system. This is another factor in the deal. And if you looked at my sneak preview on the last generator, I can't remember what I called that particular video, but I said that there was a sneak preview of another factor in the deal. Now see, if you take all the best of the known laws of physics and you don't use them as roadblocks, instead you use them as tools, you can use the laws of physics to your advantage. And so this particular experiment that I'm doing here today, this has to do with magnetic coupling, because there's 2 separate magnet accelerators that I'm tinkering with right here. Now the circuitry that I'm using is basically, these are RC motor controllers that work for some reason really awesome like a flyback driver circuit. This is a servo tester. These right here are really cheap to get a hold of. I'm going to try to do a video where I show you how to make a really super powerful flyback driver using these right here for running Tesla coils, charging up capacitors and running Tesla coils. But in the meantime, I hope you can see this. I'll try to get it. I got to wait. This sort of a buffering problem here, and of course YouTube's constantly telling me that my video's not very good, and I understand why, and I'm trying to resolve that. But I hope you bear with me for the moment. So when that comes up on there, all right, that right there is a simple circuit that is a flyback driver. And where are we at? We're going to hold it right there. So if you look at this little simple circuit, screenshot it, use it, that is how this is basically connected up. Now keep in mind that these are a little bit more advanced circuitry. They actually, when you turn them on and off, they will tune themselves to the motor that they're actually running. I don't have one of those motors handy right at the moment, but what they are is essentially a pulse DC motor style deal that basically runs off the equivalence of a flyback driver. Now some folks might disagree with that. Maybe my terminology, here's another thing. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, my terminology might not be textbook style. I just talk average Joe style, and I'm trying to explain to you things in as simple as possible of terms so that you can understand. I don't want you to have to be a rocket scientist to understand what it is that I'm talking about. And don't ever let anybody tell you that you're not a scientist. If you use the scientific observation, you're a scientist. All right? Even if you're just into natural sciences, you're a scientist. If you're paying attention to science, to nature, and you're learning, and you're using the scientific method with observation and testing and repeating and seeing what you come up with, that's science. Now, modern day science has pretty much dropped the ball as far as I'm concerned, and it's really disheartening because there's a lot of brilliant people that get sucked up into corporations and governments and stuff like that, and a lot of them that actually sell themselves down the road because of bogus science that they have to agree to in order to keep their funding. It's a sad thing because we're missing out on a lot. We're in the year 2019. We should be so much further advanced. We should quite literally be boldly going where no man has gone before. We got the technology to do so. We've got better technology than you could possibly imagine. So, what I'm trying to say to everybody is, you find a researcher out there like me, all right, and others, there are more out there. Please support them. Please at least share their videos. Please interact with them in a respectful manner, because if you discourage these individuals and they go away, then we all lose. And I've seen a lot of really good alternative energy researchers get discouraged and walk away. Forget about the terminology of free energy, alternative energy, or whatever. Free energy over unity, 0 point, or even perpetual motion for that matter, because that's there just to muddy up the water. The fact remains that if you can't find free energy, you're simply not looking hard enough for it, or you did not pay attention in basic science. Now, there's folks out there that's going to argue about that. I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm just here to share a perspective of mad science, why it is I say what I say. Let me run some of this power down. I think I got too much power going on those batteries. I don't want to mess them batteries up, so I'm going to tinker with this. But anyway, like I was trying to say, is that we're surrounded in a soup of energy. There's hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, radio waves, you name it, out there all over. And if you can study mechanically how all these energies travel from one place to the next, all we're doing is we're transferring energy, or, you know, it's like slapping a pool of water. You slap that pool of water and you'll send these ripples out, and you do it enough at the right timing, you can actually get the water to slop over to the side of the pool. That's physics. That's real science. And so, that's what I'm trying to share with everybody. And like I said, I call it mad science because I feel like that mainstream science has pretty much dropped the ball. The educational system pretty much dropped the ball. Somebody out there is writing the school books, and the school books aren't like they used to be. We should be encouraging young men and women to want to work in science, to want to be creative, to want to invent, to want to test the limits of what the laws of physics are supposedly all about. After all, how are we ever going to finally reach our ultimate achievements as a human, or whatever, you know, as humanity? How are we ever going to be able to go the distance to see how far that we can actually travel, you know, the things that we can actually accomplish? We live in a world where some people can't even get a fresh glass of water to drink. Ain't that a shame? We live in a world where there's a terminology such as hungry or homeless. There's sickness out there. This is what we're told. And when they said that they needed clean, renewable alternative energy, well, they said there was a problem out there. So guys like myself step forward, say, okay, well, I think we can solve this, because with science, I believe we can solve anything. You know, all you gotta do is understand nature works in a specific way. Nature doesn't waste anything. So when you talk about conservation of energy, nature ain't wasteful. Nature's just trying to balance itself back out whenever we do certain things. You know, like whenever they said for every action's an equal and opposite reaction. There's a reason for that. You know, you put an amount of force to something, you're going to get an amount of force back. But there are certain ways that the way that we use energy is we're using it so inefficiently that we're wasting more than we're using. It's just like our resources. We're wasting more resources than we're using. You know? And so, what I hope to bring to the table is another view, another perspective to take science into a better direction than where it's been going. I want to see us build things that are going to help humanity. Not looking to build weapons of war or any craziness like that. I'm trying to build, you know, tools. Tools that I know we're capable of doing. We're capable of doing so much more than you could possibly imagine. Folks, I've seen things that if I told you some of the things I've seen, you wouldn't believe me. You wouldn't believe me unless you saw it with your own two eyes. That's why I want to do these live streams. That's why I hope to share on you live stream with these deals right there when I get all these settings worked out to where it's not such a hassle, you know, and I ain't dropping frames all the time. That I want to be able to, I want you to be able to see real time what's going on. See, there's no way to tamper with a live stream. You know, a person could do all kinds of crazy stuff to videos, alright? Well, with a live stream, what you see is what you get. Sometimes it might be boring, but it'll be less boring if I got people in the chat room that want to talk and ask me questions and stuff, and I'll try to do something, you know, try to keep track of all those. I just got distracted by a comment. It's LMO, we are able to harness that energy within a self-levitating as well. You'd be surprised at what is really possible, folks. I'm not disagreeing with anything that was just said there. And so, let me show you something here. When I was trying to do the live stream yesterday, which I had to delete because I made a blooper on it, and there was a code that shouldn't have been shown on there that somebody could have damaged my live stream. I didn't know whether or not they give you a new one every time, but either way, it worried me, and I didn't want to mess the channel up because I do like hanging out with everybody, and I like making videos for you. But anyway, this is a wireless AC tester. Alright? These plasma globes right here, the reason why I got this plasma globe involved in the situation is because this is producing a magnetic field, that's producing a magnetic field, and this is producing one as well. This wireless AC tester, you can actually go around and test to see how far the field is back. So like if I get all the way up here, you can see hopefully that the light inside that is green. And when it starts to detect AC current, it will start to light up. So right about there, that magnetic field is stretching that far away from that globe. And we can find that out by, I can take my arm out way out here, and I can bring it I gotta hold her steady. It's hard to do this the other direction. Let's try it like this. But you can see how far that field's expanded out. Alright, and so it's actually crossing across here, and it's crossing across there. And right up here in front of me. So my hopes was to, just like as if you could see on magnet paper, whenever you put magnet paper down on top of a permanent magnet and you can see the lines of flux, you can see mechanically what's going on inside there. And on that magnet, when those lines are going from north to south, they'll form these lines in there. Well, with that said, when this magnet's spinning around and that magnet's spinning around and this is producing a magnetic field, how will those two interact with each other? How will all three of these interact with each other? Those three separate fields. And so that's why I brought the plasma globe into the equation. You can see that there is a definite effect on this. Why? Not only that, let me see if I can find. It's a neon bulb right here. You see, I hold this neon bulb out here into the bulb and it lights up. Well, that part of that is going over here to this coil. And so you can see when I touch that coil, once again, it lights up. So I can put the back of my finger, which is a pretty sensitive portion of your hand, right next to that, and I can actually feel an electrical charge being generated from that wire that's been picked up off of this field. So you can see right there that neon bulb is actually it's actually lit up, and I'm not turning the deal on just yet. So there's some of that energy from that bulb is actually making it into that coil system, which interferes with the signal that this is sending out to that to some extent. So that means I got to actually work a little harder to try to get that ball in a part of the field where it'll start rotating. And once I get it up to rotating, I can work with the servo tester to get it to start doing like what it's doing right now. Now you get that magnet going really good, and what ends up happening is while that magnet's flying through that driver coil right there, it starts to push the current back the other direction, and these wires will get hot. And that's why I said there's a good possibility you might see smoke or a wire fire, because when that happens, it gets these wires real hot. And so I'm working on a method by which to pull some of that current off of there so that it's not causing this to get hot. If you notice down here, I have a top of, actually it's the bottom of a microwave oven transformer that I cut off to get the cores or the coils out of. Let me see if I can find. There was one just around here yesterday. Oh, here it is. All right. This is a secondary out of a microwave oven transformer. All right. And so if I take this secondary and I go over here near this deal, you start seeing that bulb start to light up because it's being energized by that right there. Well, also, if I stick it down inside of here, when that coil there, when I start running this right here, you'll see, look how much brighter that is down in there. I hope you can see that. Let me bring the camera in and show you. Hopefully you'll be able to see that neon bulb, how bright it is right now. So, when I said these circuits would actually make a really good flyback driver circuit, wait till you see what I come up with. I think you're going to like it. Let me make sure I got my camera back in play. But you note that field right down there actually affects the magnetic field inside that coil of wire. And another thing, looks like so far this doggone live stream's got 6 thumbs up. I love that. I really appreciate that like you wouldn't believe, because it gets discouraging. I got a few videos that people like to come in, thumb down, you know. They don't even tell me why. I would respect it more if they said, you know, I thumbed it down because I think your physics is wrong or whatever. But nonetheless, I appreciate those thumbs up. Alright, and so if you like this live stream after today and you want me to do more of them, let me know, okay? Let me know in the comments whether or not this is basically what I tried to mention before about doing a virtual labs type setting, so that you can see real time as I'm doing experiments. Because if something fantastic happens, I want you to see it. you know, and then when you see whatever's going on, then you could try to replicate it. That's the scientific method. All right. We got wireless energy transfer. You can see this bulb right here lighting up. You can see wireless energy going over here. That on that in between this servo tester running that motor controller, pulsing that coil like a flyback driver. There's a coil down here in the center, like you saw. And that coil right there in the very middle is the one that's a secondary out of a microwave oven transformer. And I had 7 coils running in the other one, and they were all fairly bright. And so that tells me there's some power going on there. So I know that we can make a really powerful flyback driver circuit. And we can build super efficient transformers. As well as this study right here would give us some extra knowledge on how to build super efficient electric motors as well. So we're looking for efficiency in storage, we're looking for efficiency in generation, and we're looking for efficiency in how, you know, we get the mechanical energy out of it that we want. You know, whether it be a fan blowing or, you know, whatever it is that we're going to be running. So folks, that's what mad science is all about. Alright, now I said that this field right here was interacting with these fields over here, and you can tell that I'm really kind of having an issue getting these things to run. It's got a sweet spot in there. I take that out of the way right there, and we'll try to get her to go again. I'm running 2 separate servos, 2 separate motor controllers. Now, when that thing starts to lock in and starts to peel out, and that's when that gets exciting, because sometimes this thing it'll build up some power, it'll start spinning crazy in there, and then it'll take off like a rocket, and it'll take this thing and rock it back and forth like that. So there's some power going on. And once in a while, the doggone magnet will get locked into a position, and I got a neodymium magnet in here, and I'll just use that to try to get that magnet spun around so it's at the different polarity, so it'll start to do some work. All right, she's starting to work her way out. Watch that thing go. Started to lose a little bit of gas going on there. Gonna make a liar out of me. That's what science is all about. Sometimes it's boring, but sometimes it's exciting too. Now the moment there's any change in voltage, then you'll see that that thing will start to slow down because it's not pulsing the exact frequency that it was when it finally took off. So when we track down the exact frequency that this is running, that we can actually build customized circuits to run these things constantly. And when it's running properly, this thing will keep on building up speed. I'm hoping you can hear this. you see me touching these wires right here, that's because I start to smell the wires cooking. Just that amount of energy rushing around like that starts to shove current back in the opposite direction. And so I give it a little bit of a rest while I'll try to get this other one going. I want this one to do what that one did earlier. You hear that tone? It's locked into place. Come on. Okay, let's give that one a little bit of a rest. When you find the right sweet spot, she'll take off and she'll stay running. Alright, I'm gonna move this plasma globe now because I want you to see an interaction with this plasma globe when it's in the center. Have to shut this down right here. Bring that down inside there. Now that's without the power on. You see how there's enough energy in this cord right here to interfere with that signal. Now if it don't make a liar out of me, I'll show you something. Now it's on. Look like gonna make a liar out of me then. Get out of there. My preference would have been to be able to get that globe down in there smaller, but I'm not ready to tear this thing apart just yet, but I'm actually going to take the circuitry out of there at some point and wire that so you can see how, like with this right here with the neon bulb, you get some wireless energy going on. Well, from that to this, from that to this coil right here. But you can see there's actual voltage involved there. Now, did you see that? Did you see that table rocking, folks? That's what I'm talking about. My initial hopes was to be able to see how that argon inside that plasma globe interacts inside that field. Well, since it's putting a field out there, it's actually probably cogging with that doggone neodymium ball, because it's got its own magnetic field at the time when it's getting going. So it might be meshing like gears, if that makes any sense to you. But I was hoping to get a better response as far as the visual that you could see inside of that that plasma ball. Knocked it off its little level there. Huh. Alright, so that circuit right there that's actually running this right here, like I said, it's basically a flyback driver circuit. I hope I got that in the right spot where you can see it. I'll hold still there because it's got a little bit of delay, so I got to make sure I'm in the right area. But you can smell them wires getting warm, because when that magnet gets up to spinning, it wants to get up and push some heat back the other way, some current. Come on. Ah, I gotta get right in front of it. Alright, there it is. That's a simple flyback driver circuit. This one right here uses a IRZ44 or an IRF3205 MOSFET. And it's a really ridiculously simple circuit. I actually have that posted on my site, but anyway, these will connect up just like that for your flyback driver. And as long as you got enough turns on this, as long as you monitor the temperature, you could actually put take that casing off and put a better heat sink on there. I'm using this right here, which is the bottom of a microwave oven transformer, and using that core to transfer the heat from this circuit down into that. And because heat will go to cold, then it will suck that heat out of that circuit, and otherwise would have got really hot and possibly burned itself out by now. Is not because of that. Well, that same exact circuit is also let me get it. It's also similar to this right here. This is what they call a Slayer exciter circuit that's running a Tesla coil. Now my friend Ryan Abrams over at Abrams Lab, he put this thing together. He did a really awesome job. Alright, and it's a tip 42C transistor, a resistor, and a diode. It's a real simple circuit, and it's wireless energy. It's pretty much what you got going on right there as well. And so if you're talking about, I noticed down there somebody wanted to learn about energy transfer and wireless energy, this is a good way to start. Real easy, real simple, and really cheap in order to be able to start testing how far you can actually transmit energy. So, you know, with that said, I think I got a battery down here. Might just throw that up in there to see what kind of what kind of interaction that I get with that. Because this is actually probably at a different frequency, more than likely at a different frequency range than what we've got going on there. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably start off over here, and then I'll take that plasma ball out of the equation, or take it and move it, swap places with it, and I want to put this in the center of that that accelerator to see whether or not there's any interaction with that as well. You'll see I'm going to put all this stuff right here. But whereas it might seem to be boring to some, that's what science is all about. All right, and you can see that when that magnetic field is inside, when something's inside that magnet, it's really strong inside there. But you can change that field. You can change the direction of that field. So that's a mechanical thing that we know we can actually use. We can use that bit of knowledge to know that we can actually change the direction of that magnetic field. Like right here, when this thing gets up to rolling around really good, it almost like creates a vacuum and sucks that magnetic field away from anything that's generating on the outside and pushes it all in the center. But you have to ask yourself, where is that power going? And eventually that power's got to go back somewhere, so it'll pressurize this wiring and then start pushing it down here, and the knees will get really hot. Set that down in there for a minute. Could the field of that Tesla coil there, could that field actually be affecting, depending on which direction it's actually going out, could it be affecting these circuits? We'll try a reset of both of these motor controllers by unplugging the power on both of them. Let me set that down. Alright, so we're going to reset the servo testers for the motor controllers, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but there's usually a little beeping noise going on, and you wait for that beep to stop and then try to turn the deal. Pretty incredible how this circuitry will actually almost self-tune itself. See, it's actually having to fight with two separate fields right now. And remember this, the strongest magnetic field is always going to win out. When two fields come in contact with each other, they're going to start coupling with each other. If you got them just far enough apart where they can interact with each other, you can use magnetic fields just like gears in a machine. Okay, so let's take and let's swap this out here. Take this one out of the equation for a minute. See what we get. They're trying. You see both of the things moving so slow? if we get a good understanding of what and how these fields are actually, I mean actually, really interacting with each other. Not what we think is going on, but what we can physically see, how they really interact with each other. I think that's going to make all the difference in the world on how we, in the future, engineer electric motors and such. That's a pretty big one. Ain't the same one I had, but it'll work. Huh. See how that field swaps out? That's another tool that we can learn from. Let's reset that servo. Look how that one, that is actually hindering that. We got some definite wireless energy going on. That field is not nearly as strong as the neon bulb. See, that ain't lightening up. That's the thing about the Slayer exciter circuit, the way that it's designed. That circuit is so incredibly fast that field is expanding and collapsing really quick. And so the distance on there, you can see a definite in the distance on how close you actually have to get to that. Of course, this is only being ran at 9 volts. You can step it up and you can get a little bit more distance, but you'll never get too far with that particular circuit because of how fast that field is expanding and collapsing. If I find my wireless AC tester, which I just had a moment ago, but I don't know where I put it. Do any of you see it sitting on the table anywhere? It's on my lap. That's why you didn't see it. Huh. Alright, so you remember with the plasma ball, how far that field was? Now watch as we come in here. Just right there. But you notice that it's not like your normal AC current like you'd hear like that. I hope you can see that. That's how much power is being wasted out of that, but that's how far the signal is off of there. You get right up here, it'll bleed through the insulation. All right, now when you get over here, that's the distance. You see how much less distance is available using that particular circuit? It's not because that's not a good circuit. It's because that circuit is moving so fast, and this is right on the coil. There's a difference of how that circuit's being pulsed as opposed to how that plasma globe is being pulsed. So when you get that understanding down, that's another tool in your box right there. These tip 42C transistors, they're moving fast, and that field is expanding and collapsing fast. That's why it's doing what it's doing. That's why you can only get that far. That's it. You'll never get that, with the exception to put a little bit more power to it. Pushing that transistor as hard as you can, you might get it out to here. If that energy has a road to travel, like if I put, let me see. If I give it a path from that and put it on the outside of the insulation there, it'll follow that path. But either way, that's the explanation of why it is that doggone thing doesn't get a very lengthy. It still has. Well, I got her grounded, so she ain't got nothing right at the moment. Back there. You can see how it'll follow the path down that bulb. It's another tool in your box. And it's really ridiculously simple to build those particular circuits. It's not rocket science. But the key is, do you understand exactly what's happening? That's the purpose for these experiments. So that you can see real time what it is I'm talking about. And I already unplugged that, so I didn't know if this would actually work anyway. Depending on how powerful that doggone field is. Huh. Give it a ground? Nope. Oh, duh. Nope. So, actually, I sit around for hours and hours and hours doing tests. I test everything. Everything you can possibly imagine. Every possible concept in every different direction. And I do that for a reason. Because when I bring a video to you, and you see it working in that video, there's an anomaly that's worth taking a look at. There is something going on in that circuit that is worth adding to the toolbox of things that you can use. Alright, so now we haven't got either the plasma ball or the other the Slayer exciter circuit, basically mini Tesla coil. Neither one of them's involved in the situation. Now let's see if we can get this thing to get tuned up and get it to act crazy. Reset the circuit. And we'll reset this one. So even from that distance apart, because I've actually got this one here is actually connected to that battery. I got these two batteries these two interacting with that energy between the two of them. If I disconnect that one and I disconnect that one, now those batteries are isolated from each other. Trying to keep up here. I'm trying to read something out of the chat room. Put your coil on top of that bump and just let it lay there. Alright, we'll give that a shot. That's worth an experimental try. So we'll take and set this right here. And we'll bring this back over here. Reset the servo. Now, I don't know if I'm hallucinating or not, but I'm going to try some. I'm going to turn some light out for a second because I actually kind of thought for a minute there I saw some doggone light going on in that thing. Probably not. Yeah, it was probably from the LEDs. No, you can't see nothing. Alright. Fail. Huh. That was a definite fail. However, maybe, let's put it down here unpowered. easier to see with a neon bulb, or even that, an LED. Nope. I do have other wireless circuits that I can run test with, but so far it's a big no. Huh. Take that metal plate out of the way. Alright, since something's changed, let's reset this. Oh yeah, plus I took the power off of that. So I need to put it back on. So I can watch the voltage between these batteries right here. And it takes some time to get them to sync up. Another thing we need to figure out is whether or not temperature has a difference on how good that circuit works. Because if you keep that circuit cool and you keep the voltage stable, then you should be able to run it a lot better. And I forgot to ask, how's the video quality inside the chat room? Can you folks see that very well? Let me know if it's clear for you. Let's see. Yeah, I saw a video a while back. It had a magnet on both ends of the battery going through it like a train. Yeah, that's pretty much the same concept. The way that those, with the DC current, that magnet's in there trying to right itself, it can't find its balance or whatever, and it'll go through there perfectly. But keep in mind that this particular setup right here, that magnet is insulated away by this PVC tubing, and it's actually the magnetic field itself. There's no connection necessary to it. Yeah, it is. I keep getting confused by your name. It's I guess you get your way you got it set up in your chat. I want to learn energy transfer. It's hard for me to try to. It don't have like a regular screen name next to you, so it's hard to me to get going there. And Pete Penn 1 said, "Hi, nice guy. We are here to learn." Yay! Thanks, Pete. We all learning. We're all teaching each other. So, Sunshine on Sophie said, "Hi, amazing work you're doing." Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sorry, it took me a while to get back to those comments over there. I'll get this thing sorted out pretty soon and be able to be up on my game when I'm talking to you. I want you folks to be able to see these experiments real time. There might be some boring sections and there might be some exciting sections. Who knows? We might even see a wire fire. Huh. I've had a few of those. But you see, that there got itself in sync, so it's actually going to run there for a minute until I start talking about it, and then it'll quit. He got camera shy. I hope you're seeing that. Huh. So what are we learning? Are we learning about how these magnetic fields act with each other? See, I can smell some wires getting warm over here. Let's crank that one up just a hair. Come on. I want you to see what happens when that doggone thing finally hits that spot. Send one down. I'm going to make an attempt to have a some sort of custom wrap or tubing that is built like magnet paper, so that as that doggone neodymium sphere is actually spinning through that coil, you can see what's going on in real time, because it's what I need to know. I need to know what's actually happening, so I can figure it out mechanically. If we could figure out exactly what's going on with that, I'm not talking about theory, I'm talking about we can see with our two eyes that magnetic field being formed, the flux lines and where they're going, how they're interacting with each other, then that will give us everything we need to know about making some really spectacular designed, super efficient electric motors. See, I wish that YouTube had voice chat. I wish they had voice chat where you could actually talk real time. So, Bill says in the chat, Bill Pop said in the chat, don't let the smoke out of the wires. I done that myself a few times. Yeah, I started a few wire fires. That makes it exciting in the mad science lab. Plus, it don't smell too good. And let's see, Karim Purble, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name, said, wow, that's cool. Yeah, it is. Sometimes you get to see some really exciting stuff. I've been trying to get it to lock into that one spot, and whenever it does, you'll watch. This thing will build up enough centrifugal force to where it'll rock this thing, want to rock it off the table. And this one here will give a horizontal, because of the way that it's designed, you know, it catches speed going down the straightaway, and then it hits that curve and then launches out, and you'll see this thing rocking back like that. And it's pretty amazing. Anyway, what do you folks think about me making some kits that, like, if you want one, you could actually build this at home. If I could get tubing and everything situated, would you be interested in having one of your own to try out at home? Because that's where you'll get to actually see for yourself firsthand what I'm talking about, what's really going on. All right, let me try to reset the servos again, servo testers. Or these circuits, you'll hear them whenever they do reset. That's the one there. When they do reset, there's a little tone that they push out. It actually turns that into a speaker. And you just let them play through their little beeps. When it stops beeping, then try to turn it. So if you happen to build one of these kits, if I build these kits and you get one of these kits from me, you could actually be able to see what it is I'm saying. Come on. Don't you want to dance for the people there, Magnet? Come on. Let's get her going. Gotta put the magic touch on it. Ooh, like that. Something like that. Or get this magnet over here. And you want to hang out with your friend? Huh. Now another option I could do is try to scoot one of these farther away from each other and see if that makes a difference. Because these are some pretty strong neodymium magnets. You can see right about there. Just keep that going steady. Huh. Oh, I also forgot to mention that these magnets right here are 3/4 inch sphere magnets. I'll have to hold that up there for a minute so I can make sure I got it centered in the camera. Alright, so with that said, there are the coils that are actually on this one right here. You'll notice that there's a pretty good gap right there. I'll hold that up there for a second. I'm gonna make sure it's going through. There we go. Looks like I got it there. There's a pretty good gap there. Well, on this one down here, these tubes right here, you can see. Ah! Yeah, I dropped it. These tubes right here, you can see, minus the paper, of course. It's a lot tighter fit. So how's that relevant? It's because now this ball right here would be more centered inside those coils than the other one. And so that's how I'm able to get probably a little better response out of this particular one right here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade the ball that's inside the neodymium sphere that's inside of that one to a 1-inch ball and try it again. Whereas this one still will function. I think it'll do a whole lot better if that neodymium magnet's centered in that field better. Taking up less space, if you understand what I'm trying to say there. Or more space. Huh. Well, you know what? There's 13 thumbs up in there. I think that's really cool, man. Thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate that. It inspires me to want to do more live streams. I'm waiting on some 2-part epoxy resin so that I can mount some coils in for that other generator. And so once I get that situated, I'll show you what that one can do as well. We'll have a similar type of setup as far as the motor driver, and we will be basically running off the same type of power source. And if you're wondering why I'm always talking about 12 volts, 12 volts like in these batteries right here is easily achievable. So if we want to you know, get some really crazy efficiency going on, if you can do it with 12 volts, then you're, yeah, I hope you understand what I'm saying there. Because there's probably a car battery in everybody's neighborhood. Emergency power wise, 12 volts to do it. Especially when you finally understand what's going on back there in the background there with that that storage thing over there. Let me show you something cool. You notice those 2 capacitors back there, they're off. This voltage is at 11.14 volts. The high voltage that's in those capacitors is setting at 69.9 volts. And you've got 11.17 back there on that side. So what's cool about this is how it's actually running. That's a DDS signal generator. I'm going to get a wire fire if I'm not careful here. So I'm going to shut these down here for a second and let that cool down a bit. If you look up here, this is a 5-volt USB charger that is running that DDS signal generator, as well as there's a 9-volt AC adapter that is pushing some power into the circuit from this direction. But this one here is pushing out from 5 volts, it's ramping it up to give or take 9 volts into this microwave oven transformer, which is pulsing the secondary, and in turn sending an AC wave down these AC start capacitors. Normally these type of capacitors wouldn't be used you know, constantly, but since we're only pushing voltage and we're not pushing current, they're perfectly fine. And so they store and help pack a punch for whenever it goes into this bridge rectifier over here, changing that AC wave into a DC wave and charging with voltage this capacitor, that one, and that one over there. Then in turn, that energy from this point right here is bled off into this capacitor set. This parasitic circuit is used to drain while it's charging. I use this to drain energy away from it while it's charging, because I want it to be charging under a load. So everything you see there is while it's charging under that particular load at the moment. This is a 11 volt boost cap bank. This is a 12 volt boost cap bank, and that's an 11 volt boost cap bank. That is a boost cap bank, and well, these are super capacitors, same thing. Anyway, I also have this one over here. Right now, the storage of this system right here is setting off of this capacitor bank right here at 11.14 volts. Now, the cool thing about that is I'm going to drain some of that power off, and I don't know if you'll be able to see the voltage on that one back there, but I'm going to drain some of the power off with the circuit that's up behind me. Alright, now I'm going to try to carefully stretch this wire out long enough so you can see in this one right here, hopefully that's focused in all right. There's plasma in there. Let me look in there myself. Alright, I can see it now. There, right down in that area, right down in there. You see that purple down in there? If I can hold her steady long enough, that's plasma. But this circuit right here, all these circuits take a lot of power. There's 10 different circuits. And it's running off of all stored energy. You see that there? It's upside down. It says 9.3, 9.3, and 9.3. And you see what we're setting at over here? 10.4, 10.6, 10.33, 10.32, and 68.9 volts. Folks, we have our storage problem worked out. We can store energy on demand. Not one battery in that entire system. Not one single battery in that entire system. All capacitors. What do you think of that? So, what you're looking at right there is the most efficient storage system, generating system that you could possibly imagine. You take this system right here, which is scaled down, and scale it up, and you can store real-time, on-demand power of amazing magnitudes, proportions, or whatever you want to call it. The technology such as the neodymium magnet accelerator, when you see what it is that I'm going to be doing with this thing, and you add it to what's going on with here, and then you add it to what's going on with the other generator that I'm going to incorporate with it, I think you're going to be really happy. Right now, it might seem like just a toy. But trust me when I say, it ain't no toy. You get the right circuit down, you get the right frequency range going on inside there, and this magnet will take off to the moon. It'll take off like a rocket. Because we're going to be guiding and compressing a magnetic field inside that tube, and that magnet's going to want to get out of the way. You seen what happens. When that thing starts to build up some doggone momentum, go back and look at my other videos that I showed and watch when that thing starts to rock. If you get a chance to jump over there on Twitch TV as well, I post some live streams over there too. So if I'm not doing a live stream on YouTube, I'm probably on Twitch doing one, or I'm pushing up a video for you guys and gals. Stephen and David said, "This is incredible." Hey, thanks, friend. I really appreciated that. You know, words of encouragement inspire me to share more kind of stuff with people, because, you know, out here in the alternative energy world, we don't get a lot of credit for the time what we spend putting things together, trying to share videos and stuff like that. So something simple as a thumb up, or, you know, a kind word in there, it's appreciated. And I want you all to be able to talk to me. If you got a question, I want you to be able to, you know, get a hold of me. So you can always contact me on Skype, same username. We'll talk real time. You know, I love talking to people. I love sharing science. If you join me on shazizradio.com on Saturdays for a Mad Science Show, or on Sundays for the Knights of the Round Table, that's 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Time. You'll get to hear me on there talking about science and, you know, things going on in the world and how we can fix them together and that stuff like that. See, you help me out by just showing up. That's how to help me out. You show up, you say hi. If you like what you see, you tell somebody about it, and you help me out. That's all I could ask for, and it's well appreciated. But let me show you real quick. I'll pause those just there for a second. I wanted to get to that one spot and show you something cool, but I want to get over here and see if I can get this on. I'll probably have to use this one right here. If you jump over there to shazizradio.com, it's like my own version of Super Chat. I only call it Super Chat because it's got 4 chat rooms in there. You get to talk to four separate chat rooms at the same time if you want. And there are links all over here. Podcast, there's Knights of the Round Table podcast, Mad Science podcast. There are links to other researchers out there, and like Russ from RWG Research, he's on there. Revolution Green, my friend Tom from Borg Steam Factory, and you know, like I said, there's 4 chat rooms up in there. And Mark Brash from Zero Fossil Fuels, he does sort of a live you know, virtual labs kind of deal. There's a link to rwgresearch.com, People for People Radio Network. There's some wonderful people over there from Scotland and Ireland and all over the world. That's also Mark Brash's Zero Fossil Fuel site there. And Russ also has open source energy.org, Rich Planet Industries Research, TeslaMaker.com. And there's my friend Two Dog. He's gathering up flags from all different nations, and he's putting these flags around the Tree of Peace. I wish this was focused in a little bit better for you, but it's not. You just go over there and take a peek. It's at shazizradio.com in the super chat room. And so we post a lot of things over here for, you know, a lot of different people. And, you know, if you've got some sort of project you're working on and you want us to post it over there for you, we sure do want to share it, especially if you're an alternative energy researcher, or even if you're a musician and you want your music played online or whatever. Look, folks, everything over there is free. It don't cost you nothing, just time to show up and visit. That's it. But if you want links to every single thing, go over there to right here. This is shaziz.com. The Mad Science deal there. Let's see if we got it going on. Takes a little while. Alright, now I see it on the screen. And I'm sorry that it's just not like real quality video at the moment. I'm just trying to share this with you. So if you want, you can go over there. This is www.shaziz.com. It has links to everything. Facebook, Twitter, all that information. If you go to the super chat room, there are links after links after links to Alternative Energy Room right here at this Stevens resource page. He has compiled a list of alternative energy designs, alternative energy researchers, all kinds of information. And so, also, if you go over to twitchtv.com, that's where I also do another live stream over there. Not live streaming there right now, but the videos over here, unfortunately, they only stay up for like 14, 15 days, and then they delete them on you. Of course, I could download them and move them over, but it sure is a lot of hassle. So if you want to see those, you could go up there and watch them and download them yourself if you like. But it's twitchtv.shaziz or forward. Sorry about that. https www.twitch.tv/Shaziz. If you go over to Twitch and just type in Shaziz, you'll find me. As soon as this crazy slow computer comes up, you'll see what I'm talking about. I did a live stream over there to test over there. I'm trying to do my bottle caps for Mad Science bucket campaign and see how that goes. And try to show the world something really cool. He said, Bill said, know a few of them guys. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. There's it's like a family out there. There's alternative energy researchers out there. Some of these are really nice folks, and they do some really good work. And so, with that said, if you get an opportunity and you want to help support Mad Science, just go over there and say hi to everybody. Tell them old crazy-haired Shaziz sent you. I'd appreciate it. All right? So anyway, I'm trying to do something special. I'm trying to help the world out. They said they needed clean, renewable, alternative energy source. I'm here to help. And if anybody's willing to listen and wants to pitch in and help too, we'll get her done. Flat out. We got all the science necessary to resolve every single problem under the sun if we choose to do so. And I've been saying it and saying it and saying it till I'm blue in the face. But until people start believing it's possible, folks, we're just fighting against it. We're fighting against the system. We're fighting against each other. We need to stop fighting amongst each other and we'll start working alongside each other. There's some brilliant researchers out there. And they do some amazing things. You see that? That's what I'm talking about. We'll let her run until she catches on fire or stops. That's what I've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. What you're witnessing right now is what I've been waiting for. Jerry said they sold him a round room and told him to pee in the corner. You're right, brother. You're so right. We're going to let her run out, see whether or not she either catches on fire or finally gives up and goes to sleep. So far, I don't see any smoke. This is where patience pays off, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you can see back there, that voltage is up to 72 volts now. 10.40 on that one and 10.47 on the other one over there. So the rebound on that was really quick. I want to learn energy transfer. Send me a link to your YouTube video and I will subscribe to you. Just type it in the chat room right here. So far, no wire fire, and she's still going. Uh-oh. Losing momentum. Going back up. Woohoo! Ah. Now she's just kicking right along. Those wires are borderline hot. Huh. Well, we're doing pretty good, folks. It's still staying at 12.7 volts. That one over there is still at 12.8 volts. Sounds like she's losing speed again. Well, I hope you do post, Bill. You know, every bit of information out there that we share with each other makes a big difference. See that? See that neon bulb? Lit up. Woohoo! Oh. Ain't that cool? And she didn't stop. Oh. Alright, so how those magnetic fields interact with each other. Let's see if we can bring this thing to a stop. That hand's getting hot. Smells like ozone. Folks like to say old Crazy Hair Shazoos don't know what he's talking about. All right, folks. I really seriously enjoyed doing this live stream for you and with you. I enjoyed the comments. I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for the thumbs up. And I hope to do a lot more of these. If you really like what you see here, tell a friend about it. And I'm going to be doing all kinds of projects like what you see. It's not always going to be the same projects. There's going to be other things on this table, and I'm going to be doing some experiments for you so that you can see, and I want you to be able to understand exactly what's going on. So please excuse me when I use simple terms about things, but not everybody's an electrician, not everybody's an electronics engineer. I want everyone, no matter what their educational background is, to be able to understand exactly mechanically what's going on in every given deal. And I want to make it as simple as possible so that if you want to try to replicate this, that you'll have the capability to do so. I want to try to put some kits of different things together and see who'd be interested in having one of those kits to actually have mailed to them so that they can test it out for themselves. So that when you're testing in your lab and I'm testing in mine, we can do a real-time virtual labs via how we're doing it right now. And you can show me your things that you've learned, and I can show you what I've learned, and we can help troubleshoot problems together. And we can resolve all these so-called energy deals. Right now we've got the storage. We've got the generation. We know how to generate power, and when I get through showing you how I'm going to be generating power and how we're going to be using power differently and so incredibly efficient, then it'll all start making sense why it is that I've done the things the way that I've done them so far throughout my YouTube channel. Please don't ever discount some of the videos that you see on there because it might seem crazy or whatever. I always read the description. You see a question mark on there, I'm asking for your input. I'm asking, what is it that you believe? Because what you believe is possible and what I believe is possible will determine whether or not we try to reach for those goals. Maybe we've already achieved those goals, and maybe we need to know whether or not people are ready to use this type of knowledge or technology. But until we can come to some sort of agreement where we can actually work together, as long as we're going to treat each other poorly and people come in and they call you names and tell you how stupid you are, we're going to lose a lot of really brilliant individuals who are really good researchers. I myself am so discouraged by some of the comments that come through YouTube and other social media networks that I was about ready to quit. But thanks to some friends and people like yourself that show up in here and try to encourage people to keep on sharing projects and information, I stuck around, and I want you to do the same. I want you to be encouraged to do projects and share them with me. And this is how we will learn together, we'll grow together, and we'll solve the problems of the world. There's no reason for anyone to be dying of thirst in a world that's 3/4 covered in water. There's no reason for people to be hungry, sick, or homeless. Because this wonderful world that we've been put on, however we got here, however you figure we got here, is an amazing, amazing creation. And it is a self-contained biosphere of epic proportions. It's a thermoelectric generator, a hydroelectric generator, a piezoelectric generator, a wind power generator. It has energy galore, more energy than we could ever use in a trillion lifetimes, and I didn't even mention the sun. So, with all these resources available, and something as simple, my friend sent me a bottle of water. Alright? Water, it's amazing. It's hydrogen, oxygen, and it is an incredible molecule. It's the most stable molecule on this planet. On this earth, wherever you think we are, it's the most stable molecule. Our bodies are 3/4 water. The earth is 3/4 water. It's a life-giving miracle as far as I'm concerned. But what we can do with this water, it would simply amaze you. And I hope to prove that to you. I hope to show you that the world we live in can not only be cleaned up, it can be rejuvenated, and it will rejuvenate us as well. If we take care of this beautiful earth of ours, it will take care of us. So I want you to think about that. A friend sent me this bottle of water out of love. And he tells me this water has some amazing characters to it. What this water is capable of. I also, before I take off out of here, I'll be right back. I hope you stick with me for a minute, because I really need your help. Now I have to wait around to see if I'm on the screen here yet. As soon as I see myself on there and I know I'm in the picture, I want to talk to you for a second and ask you to do me a favor. Just a simple favor, take a few minutes of your time. Well, I kind of sort of see myself. Maybe I need to readjust just a hair bit. Looks like I'm centered there. I hold it in my hand right here, the most valuable bottle cap ever. I wouldn't sell this for all the money or all the gold and silver in the world. Go watch my video that I just put out called, what was it called? Oh, I can't even remember. Oh, It Begins Here. That was what I called it. The video, It Begins Here. It's the last video that I just put up before this live stream. And watch that video for me all the way through. Please watch it all the way through to the end. I'm going to do something, and I hope that it inspires the world to do something. I'm going to do this in my local community, and I'm going to share this with you step by step through the process of how it works out. For more details, just please go watch that video. And if you like what you see there, throw a thumbs up in there. I already got 2 thumbs down, or I don't understand why anybody would thumb down something of what I said. What I talked about in that video, it talks about doing something really good for this world. Solving 3 problems in one go. One of them's my own problem, you know, how to fund my research to keep it going. But I'm not asking people for money. What I'm asking them for is that if they see a bucket like this somewhere, throw a bottle cap in it. That's it. If you're standing next to the trash and you see one of these right here, and you're going to throw it in the trash anyway, just throw it in that bucket. And let me do what I do best and show you what it is that I can do with that bottle cap. And I think that when you find out what it is that I'm talking about, I think you're going to be really pleased. So, maybe one of these days, this right here, the most valuable bottle cap ever, might travel the world. You might get seen by a lot of people, and someday, even though I wouldn't sell this to anybody for all the money in existence because of not what this bottle cap is made of, but what this bottle cap can achieve, maybe one day to the right person I would give this to them. The most valuable thing I got, besides my family, my friends, and all of you in this wonderful world we live in. It's what this thing right here can achieve that I hope to put a smile on every single one of your faces. Oh, Crazy Heritage is going to take a bucket. The most valuable bottle cap ever. And I'm going to gather up more bottle caps, and I'm going to show you something really cool. I got some projects working on behind the scenes that are pretty amazing. Most of which you're not going to believe until you actually see them for yourself. But I swore that I was going to dedicate the rest of my entire life to studying everything that there is to know about alternative energy, and I was going to share that with the world for free. We can clean up our water. We can feed the hungry. We can shelter the homeless. And we can get to a point where we're exactly like nature. I like to call it the Zero Waste Project. Because nature wastes nothing. Nature recycles everything. And if we work in harmony with nature and we work in harmony with one another, we could go so far. It's limitless what we could actually achieve if we choose to do so. Now, I hope you share this with people. Hope you share this live stream. I hope you visit me more often and go over to Shaziz Radio and say hi. And I hope you take to heart what I'm sharing with you, and I hope that you take the knowledge and don't just look at it. Take the idea, expand on it, and run with it as far as you can go. And together, I think that if we choose to do so, we can quite literally turn this world into a heaven on earth, a utopia, so to speak. Not because of some one world government, because of each of you. Inside of you, every single one of you who is so unique and so very important to everything that is. You're one piece of the puzzle, and without you, we can't have that big picture. So every one of you, every single life out there is so much more valuable than you can possibly imagine. And you're so much more powerful than you think you are. You have capabilities beyond your wildest imagination if you ever choose to use it. The system don't want you to know that. I personally do. I want you to be inspired to not only care for others, I want you to be inspired to care for yourselves. I want you to know how special each one of you are. And I want you to take that inner light that's inside you, and I want you to shine it as bright. And I want you to raise that voice up. And I want you to share it with the world. I want you to be what you were meant to be. An amazing piece of the puzzle. Every last one of you. Folks, I'm gonna stop this live stream. An idea is just an idea until you act on it. Peace and love to each and every one of you. Let's get together and fix it.